Let's make it a good day.
Coming up today, she's the first lady of television. We are celebrating the one and only Betty White as the Golden Girl turns 99. Then making sourdough bread was one of the hottest quarantine trends on social media. But is it really that easy to do? Our foodie North Star, Stephanie Hansen, will show you the do's and don'ts of the dough. And get ready to smile because you are showing us your weekend. Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hello, Wabasha. Hello, Oak Grove. Hello, St. Paul. Okay, somebody's baby is crying and it got into our feed. We are being intercepted by a crying baby. I love live What is that? What are you doing over there? What? Okay, what's happening is the audience button that used to be the applause is now a crying baby. So instead of an applause, we're gonna have a crying baby now? Is the weekend crew, okay, kid? This is why I don't have children. I wouldn't handle this well. Did the weekend crew sabotage us? What is Karen Scala doing? What? Did Steve just cycle through every sound effect we've ever had? I heard a slight explosion. I heard a mild explosion before we heard the applause. That was Jeff's head exploding like a Warner Brothers cartoon. Well, this is a great program, isn't it? Welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. I just got word from the booth. It wasn't an explosion, it was bowling. Can we just put on a rerun? Or should we just, no, because we have a great audience standing by, our virtual audience. Please say hello, and they're not malfunctioning. Please say hello to Stephanie, Christine, Kim, and Rachel. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
We're gonna start with the top left square. Kim, where are you zooming in from?
I'm zooming in from Princeton.
Oh, you know how I feel about Princeton. I
do.
Princeton, Cambridge. Okay, have you been to the Pine Brook, Kim?
I was just there on Saturday.
Atta girl. And you know what? We were almost there. We had to come up to the cabin for something, and we decided to come back into the city, but I love the Pine Brook. It's a great, Todd and Teresa who own it. They're good people.
Yes.
Support local. Let's go to Stephanie. Stephanie, where are you zooming in from?
I'm in Big Lake.
Oh, Big Lake. You know, I've never been to Big Lake. I got to come up and see it. Stephanie, if I come to Big Lake, can I come over?
Sure.
Perfect. Rachel, where, you're not zooming in from Michigan, are you?
I am not, but I'm from Michigan, so I had to represent this morning.
Absolutely. What part of Michigan are you from?
I'm from Ann Arbor.
Oh, well, I'm from Michigan City, so right there at the border, New Buffalo.
In Indiana, yeah.
Yes, right there.
All right, all right. Yeah, I'm zooming in from East Bethel this morning.
Oh, perfect. And finally, Christine. Christine, where are you zooming in from?
Hey, Jason, I'm over the other border in Durand, Wisconsin.
Durand, Wisconsin. Let's hear it for our Wisconsin friends. Cue the baby or whatever we have today. There we go, yeah. Anyway, the ladies will be checking in with us throughout the show. Thank you, ladies. So Kendall, if you notice, Kendall is not here. I usually go to her right away. It is Kendall's birthday today. So happy birthday to Kendall. How old is she? 50, 52? She's 31 today. Okay, now, thank you for doing this photo because can I let all of you in on a secret since she's not here? And promise me you won't tell her because she'll never watch this show anyway. I was going to compliment her on her birthday, but maybe I'll do both. Okay, see this photo right here? I give Kendall, when the camera's not rolling, I give her such a hard time, jokingly, because I'm like an older brother, so I pick on her. I give her such a hard time. If you go to her Instagram, she has all of these posed photos like this that look like she just did it at like Olin Mills or the Jacques Penet family photo studio. So one day, I am going to go out with photographer Eric and recreate all of these Kindle photos and not tell her. So don't tell her. I'm gonna duplicate all of. Go to her Instagram right now and you'll see what I mean. They are hysterical. And I'm like, do you have a photographer standing by to take these photos all the time? Anyway, but now I'll compliment her on her birthday. You know, I've said versions of this in the past, but here's the truth. You know, Kindle came in. And I don't want to say replaced, but Kindle came in and took over for Shane. There's a better way of saying it. And Shane was and is incredibly popular. And with shows like this, and I hope, and this is one of the things I love about this, we become part of your day. We're part of your routine, and you think of us as friends and family. And when something changes, ooh, girl, people don't like it. People don't like change, and I understand. So when Kindle came in, you know, people don't like change. And I looked at Kindle and I said, ignore the comments. Don't read anything for like a year, because then people will fall in love with you. And Kindle was one of the few people that I've worked with in this business where the minute I met her, I thought, I'm not worried at all. I'm going to miss Shane, but we had an instant chemistry, and that's hard to do. And Kindle's a youngin'. It's hard to come into an established show that's already firing on all pistons and replace somebody popular. And Kendall did it and has done it with grace and class and humor and charm every day since then. And I love her, and she is like a little sister, and I'm going to do that photo shoot. I really am. Happy birthday, Kendall. We love you. Let's get started, everybody. It is time for the hot dish. Here we go. I'm practicing my Kindle. Justin Timberlake and Justin Biel have been pretty quiet about their personal lives. Turns out they were expanding their family and now have their second child. JT opened up to Ellen about it. It'll air today. Look at this.
You're a dad again. You have another little child.
Yes, thank you.
I remember, I thought back on it, I think we were FaceTiming and you said, hey, you want to know a secret? And then Jessica walked in and you put your hand on her stomach. You're like, are you having another baby?
Yeah. You're one of the first people outside of our immediate family that we told.
You can tell me just vaguely his name and vaguely how old he is.
Vaguely?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you his name. His name is Phineas. And he's awesome, and he's so cute, and nobody's sleeping. And but we're thrilled, we're thrilled, and couldn't be happier. Very grateful.
We're grateful and excited for them. I like that they keep their relationship very private. I think that's good. We don't see that enough. Again, in the age of Instagram, we know every breakfast item that these stars eat. Justin and Jessica have been married since 2012. Their first kid is Silas. He's 5 years old. Phineas, I like that. I have a nephew, Finnan, which I love that name. My brother-in-law, Leo, and my sister-in-law, Heidi, had a little boy, Finnan. Finnan is very scared of me, though. My voice scares every time he sees me. Ah! That's what the kid does every time he sees me. That was like, did I scare you, Jeff? That's how I scare my nephew. I purposely don't even look in Finnan's direction, because it is my booming voice. At family gatherings, I don't want to make a baby cry. Anyway, next in the dish, unless it's that baby that opened our show. The inauguration is just a couple days away, and that means a lot of comedians will need to get new material. Sarah Cooper blew up this year. If you don't know who she is, you will in about 2 seconds here, because of her TikTok impressions of President Trump. She talked with CBS Sunday Morning about how she plans to move forward. Look at this.
I think I found a way to lampoon him that was different and interesting, but I think we're done.
We're done. We're not going to see any more.
We're not going to see any more, and I feel like I kind of have to use it as a propellant, but I also have to escape it in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be known as the lip-syncing girl.
As she now inaugurates the next stage of her career, she does admit to some anxiety.
What if that was it? You know what I mean? What if that was my 15 minutes? Like, what if I'll never be able to do anything as incredible as that again?
Oh, my man. But a recent Netflix special with guests like Helen Mirren.
That is very
Will you give me the thumbs
Look
up?
at you. You are a
You gotta put the thumbs up.
And a series in development with CBS means Cooper is in a much different place this January than last.
If we're sitting on this bench in 5 years, what do you feel like we're going to be talking about?
I would like to make the next Seinfeld. I would like to make the next Office. I would love to do a show that's really very much in my voice.
So Sarah's been a comedian for more than 20 years, but didn't become well known until this past year. And if you're still kind of wondering, okay, what did she do? She was on TikTok, and she would take the president's speeches and lip sync the speeches, no matter what it was, which is funny seeing, you know what, you can see the humor. So I think she's immensely talented, and I have a funny feeling people are going to see that profile, creatives, executives, and give her a chance. Well, she obviously did. She's going to get a show on CBS. Well, next in the dish, J-Lo has been de-aging for decades, and some of her followers are fed up, girl. J-Lo posted, look at this, posted this makeup-free video on Instagram, and one of her fans called her out saying, "Your eyebrows and forehead don't move at all. You've definitely had Botox, and lots of it." That was my imitation of the person. J-Lo responded, "That's just my face. I have never done Botox or any injectable surgeries." Now, there are people on this staff that think that that's a lie, that she absolutely has had some work done, some Botox. I don't think so. I think J-Lo would just admit it. Why would she need to make it up? I'll tell you, I've had it. I have it right now. That's why I don't show any emotion. Let's go to the audience. Okay, show of hands, ladies. How many think that J-Lo has never had any Botox, any fillers, any nips, any tucks, anything? Show of hands. Okay, well, we'll be right back, everybody. That was it. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'm in the minority. I take her at her word. Thank you, ladies. I do. I think she's free. She would just say, yeah, I've had a little thing. I don't know. Lots more to come. Go get some Tang, and we'll be back right after this. Stay with us. We're just getting started. Coming up next, chances are you or someone you know have tried your hand at making homemade sourdough bread during the pandemic, but are you doing it right? Foodie Queen Stephanie Hansen is here. Then from cutie pets to big birthdays, you are showing us your weekend. And she is the first lady of television. We are celebrating Betty White as the legend turns 99. Get another cup of coffee. The Jason Show will be right back.
Lowe, who celebrates a 30th wedding anniversary this year with his wife Cheryl, has 2 adult sons. The younger, John Owen, is a writer on 911 Lone Star.
That just must be unbelievable to have raised a young man, to be able to sit next to him in a room and work on a project of this scope.
You know, it's a whole other level of pride. I think my favorite thing about it, we'll be doing a scene that he wrote, and afterwards, you know, you huddle with the director and the writer, and you talk about, you know, how it went. And it'll be like, so Rob, I think, and there's a thing with 20-somethings where they don't call their parents mom and dad. And it's even gotten to the point that they don't call my wife their mother, Cheryl. They use the name of her company as her name. So it'll be like, Rob, I just got off the phone with Cheryl Lowe Designs, and she's 5 minutes late.
Well, I've been doing that for years. The Dar. Rob Lowe, who was our guest last week, talking to Willie Geist for Sunday Today. Both of those gentlemen I like. I'm still looking at that photo of Rob Lowe at 50. Inspiration, girl. You know, on Mondays, we get a special serving of hot dish all the way from Hollywood. Please give it up for our friend Brad from TMZ. Good morning, Brad.
Hey, good morning, Jason. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Well, we're going to start with some good news. So Dr. Dre out of the hospital, right?
That's right. So he is out of the hospital. It was nearly 2 weeks after he suffered a brain aneurysm, Jason. But not only is he out of the hospital, but he's back doing what he's best at, and that's making music. There was a photo posted over the weekend of Dre and some friends in a recording studio. Looks like he's back to work there. We know that he still does have a medical staff that will be staying at his home just to make sure everything is okay. It appears he's out of the woods, but doctors were still unable to figure out what caused that bleeding in his brain. So look, he's going to have a future ahead of him with medical appointments and further evaluation, but good to see him back in the studio at least.
I was going to say, that is a picture that, thank goodness, we are looking at. I mean, it could have been a whole different story a few days ago.
It's crazy how they were able to find it, Jason, and treat it, and that, like you said, he's still alive and he's in that studio, and it's great to see.
We're going to stay in music. The producer responsible for some huge hits has passed away. Who passed away?
Well, this is Phil Spector, and his impact on music is really undeniable, but there was a lot of controversy and drama around Phil Spector as well. He's the man behind some Beatles hits, Ike and Tina Turner. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But he died over the weekend at 81 years old, and he was actually in prison when he passed away, and it was for COVID complications. Now, Spector was accused and convicted of murder years ago. A woman that he had gone on a date with allegedly shot her after that date and was serving a 19-year to life sentence, Jason. And he got about 4 weeks ago, he got COVID. He was hospitalized. They determined he was okay. He returned to prison and then took a turn for the worse and passed away on Sunday.
Yeah, talk about one of the most interesting figures in music just because of the way the story went at the end. Just the path he took.
Absolutely. And even artists who worked with him, Jason, they always kind of feared him. I mean, there were stories that he'd bring a gun into the recording studio and he'd be waving a gun around in the middle of it. And people who worked with him always say, you know, he's going to kill someone. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Finally,
MTV's The Challenge is on Netflix, and I saw this on social, but I didn't click on it. One episode is missing. What's this about?
Well, this is a very controversial episode, and The Challenge is one of MTV's all-time biggest hits. It's a big competitive game show with a lot of their reality stars. There was an episode on there where one contestant, she was photographed naked by some of the other contestants as a bit of a prank. Now, this is an episode that aired years and years and years ago, which at the time maybe was a little more acceptable, even though it was just awful what they did to her. But now that The Challenge is on Netflix, that episode is not on the streaming service. We reached out to both Netflix and MTV trying to get some answers. Neither responded, but I don't think it's any surprise that final episode didn't make the cut.
No. Bad taste then and good judgment now. Brad, thanks you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my friend. TMZ on TMZ Live, I should say. Check your local listings. And for more, go to TMZ.com. Speaking of the real world, all of that, CBS All Access has all of the real world seasons, not all of them. And I don't know why, and I want to know why. They don't have they don't have like Hawaii and New Orleans, which New Orleans is one of the best, and Seattle. I have never been able to find those, and those are really good seasons. I want New Orleans with Danny when he was secretly dating the military guy, and I want Seattle, and I want Hawaii with, what was her name? Ruthie. I want Ruthie. I want those. So CBS All Access, get to work on that. And then while you're at it, get Knots Landing too. Next up, it's a day to celebrate an American icon. Betty White turned 99 years old yesterday. Yep. On her Instagram, Betty said, the birthday means she can stay up as late as she wants without asking. And she also made a big announcement. Look at this.
Welcome to the Pet Set, starring Betty White, Mary Tyler Moore, Lauren Green, Shirley Jones, Barbara Eden, Paul Lynde.
Paul Lynde. I love that they cut the soundbite. We go from Paul Lynde to me. Perfect. Betty said her long-lost TV series, Pet Set, will be available on DVD and streaming next month. The show ran from 71 to 72 and featured, as you saw, countless legendary stars talking about their pets. My mother is already searching for that right now. I bet she is. So we decided, and you've heard me say this on The Jason Show before, and I've said it on radio too, Betty is an example of one of those treasures that I've always thought we should celebrate while she's here. Let's not wait until somebody passes to be like, oh, weren't they great? Weren't their contributions to TV great? So we wanted to celebrate her today with some good, fun throwbacks. First, Betty started her career, think about this, in television, 1939. Just think about that. Becoming one of the first women in TV to have full creative control in front and behind the camera. In the 60s, she became well known for her game show appearances, mainly, the password is Betty White.
Hello, Betty.
Hello, Alan.
What are your plans for the summer, Betty? Well, I'm going to do some... What did you have in mind, Al?
Well, he had a lot in mind, because that's Betty in 1963 with her beloved late husband, Password host, Alan Ludden. This clip here stands in television history right beside, and you're going to be like, what's this parallel? You're watching two people basically fall in love, and there's a similar clip of Phil Donahue when he had Marlo Thomas on his show, and you're watching two people kind of fall in love, and that's why I love both of those clips. And Betty was, whether it was Password, Pyramid, Hollywood Squares, what was that game when the people they were in headsets? They replayed it. They replay it on buzzer. What was it? Tattletales. That's right. It was a horrible game. It was ridiculous. It didn't last long on CBS. Green Carpet is the ugliest set known to man. The ugliest set, but Betty shined. In the 70s, Betty hit it big with her role on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Everybody, I say that, everybody's smiling because she played the happy homemaker, Sue Ann Nivens. And here, we could have played countless clips. Here's just one iconic moment.
And now with a new feature, news from a woman's point of view, Sue Ann Nivens.
Thank you very much, Ted. And good evening. Massive mudslides wreak havoc. Late last evening, huge mudslides in south central Alaska buried the picturesque little village of Nornsk, long noted for its tapestries and woolly artifacts. Apple-cheeked housewives bustling down the cobbled streets were swept away by slithering mounds of mud.
That role earned Betty 2 Emmys for her Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. And it's hard to imagine the Mary Tyler Moore without Sue Ann Nivens. But if you remember, Sue Ann was brought on later. Rhoda had been written off to go to her own show, Rhoda. And Sue Ann was kind of brought on in the later seasons to replace Valerie. And I think Phyllis had left at the time, Cloris Leachman. Well, she had another huge hit. You know where I'm going. I don't even really need to read this intro, but I'm going to because Jeff wrote it. She had another huge hit in the 80s and 90s with, say it with me, the Golden Girls, playing St. Olaf's favorite native, Rose Nyland.
I think she's a Gurkhana knockin'.
Well, what exactly does that mean?
Literally, it's the precise moment when Dog Dude turns white. But in general, it refers to the kind of person you don't want to share your Hoogenkoggles with.
Rose, if you say one more of those stupid words,
so blow it out your tube and burbles.
Okay, show's over. That's it. White earned 7 Emmy nominations for lead actress, and she won once. Just like I Love Lucy, I looked at our virtual audience, who we're going to go to right now. Everybody was smiling, right, ladies? It is, even though that show debuted in 85, that was probably 86, 87. Classic, right, ladies? Still funny to this day, right, Kim?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes.
Yeah, it's still, I was watching all of your faces, and Stephanie, I saw you laughing. It is just, I mean, it's a cliche, but the jokes are just as fresh today as they were in the mid-'80s.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just a treasure. Thank you, ladies. And it's hard to imagine, too, you know, I have all this useless knowledge in my head. It's hard to imagine. Betty was supposed to be Blanche. Betty White, when they were casting the Golden Girls, she was going to read, they wanted her for Blanche because of Sue Ann Nivens. And Betty was like, no, I think I should play against what I did with Sue Ann Nivens, you know, because she was a saucy minx. And then they had Rue McClanahan from Mama's Family and Carol Burnett, who was very much like a sweet, sweet Ange. And then they switched the roles. Brilliant, because now can you imagine anybody else playing Blanche and anybody else playing Rose? No. The Golden Girls on streaming and on DVDs. Still ahead, everybody. It's the baking craze of the pandemic, sourdough bread. Everybody's making it. Stephanie Hansen's going to join us with how to make it correctly and where you can get it if you don't want to make it in the Twin Cities when we come back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Happy Monday. Well, this is no surprise, I don't think. Making sourdough bread was one of the first trends of the pandemic, that and Animal Crossing, and continues to be a favorite of the kitchen. But how do you do it? I never did it. Joining us is the co-host of The Weekly Dish and our North Star of food. There she is, surrounded by, she's the queen of carbs, Stephanie Hansen. Good morning.
Good morning, friends. Good morning.
Okay, Steph, can I just ask you, before we dive into this, a general question? Why sourdough? Out of all the pandemic cooking things, it wasn't homemade pasta, it wasn't cookies, sourdough bread. Why? Speak for America.
Okay, so I think the reason it really caught on was because there was a yeast shortage very early in the pandemic, and you don't need yeast to make sourdough bread. The leavening agent is what's called a starter. So you can start it with just a whole wheat flour and water. So it eliminated the need for yeast. So I think that's kind of how it got started.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's no joke. Like, it's like having a pet, kind of. And I am by no means here to like proclaim that I am a professional baker, because I'm not even barely close to a good home baker. But I got started a couple weeks ago. I have every year a food goal, and sourdough was my food goal for this year. So I got real excited because I started making my starter. I got it for Christmas, freeze dried, and then you I don't know if you can see the bubbles in there.
Yeah,
you have to feed it, and you have to give it water, and you have to stir it up, and it gets all bubbly. And then that's what you use as the base for the leavening agent. Now,
and that's Steph. Let me stop you. So that's the sourdough starter. That's what you need right there. That thing right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And like somebody like David FEMA, and FEMA's in Minneapolis, has had a sourdough starter that came from his family. I honestly think I read 130 years that he's had it.
Yes, he has.
And he's still using it today to make the bread in his restaurant.
Okay. So what is the difference, Steph, between using that starter and making this for yourself, like from scratch?
Nothing. You need time. So my starter that I made, which came from a freeze-dried piece of starter, or just making it from scratch, is just flour and water and time. And just sitting on your counter and allowing it to ferment and allowing it to bubble up and get all yeasty. And that's then what makes the bread rise.
Okay, take us through the process.
Okay, if you don't feel like doing your own starter, you can just buy it. This is from Bakersfield Flour and Bread, and it's already all done for you. And a lot of people sell starter. Heartbeat Kitchens, Amanda Pa sells it. She'll mail it to you. So for some people that feels more comfortable, but you still have to feed it and water it. And then it's like a long process, because you make sort of a slurry in a bowl, you let that rise for a little bit, then you come back and you knead it a little bit, then you come back, then you fold it and turn it 3-4 times, then you come back and then you let it rise, and you need some tools, right? So this is what's called a banneton, and it's got this little linen liner in there. So when you're letting the dough have its final rise, you put it in this cute little basket or a cute round basket so it gets this shape. Okay. There's just something about it that's fun.
Okay, Hansen, Steph, I'm going to just speak for a portion of the audience here. This just seems like you know what I'm going to say? It just seems like a lot. We need the starter. We need that bandana thing. We need a cloth. We need a priest. I mean, it just seems like a lot of stuff that we need.
You kind of do, because then you need the scraper, and you need.
Oh my! You're not done? Oh my!
No, you need, the right flour. This Bakersfield Flour and Bread is heritage milled in the Twin Cities, and it's fantastic. Yeah, it is kind of a process. But there's something about it, Jace, because we're all at home, so you can start this in the morning and kind of go through the process the whole day. And then at the end of the day, you have this amazing loaf of bread. I've made 2, and then I tried to make one for you. Are you ready for my blooper reel?
Yes. Oh, I heard that there was almost a fire, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, there was. So I came home last night from having dinner with my mother-in-law, and I was all excited because my bread had risen, and I've got my banneton, but I don't know if you can see. You're not supposed to cook it in here. And I threw this whole thing in the oven and it cooked.
Oh, okay.
And see, here's the bottom of the bread.
Oh my goodness.
So I could smell it cooking and I was like, what the heck? And I realized I put this entire thing in there. It's a wonder I didn't burn my house down.
So in the category of mistakes to avoid baking it in the banana thing, the Benetton, United Colors of Benetton.
In 450-degree oven, I was seriously lucky I didn't burn the house down. So
Okay.
this sad little loaf is mine. Look at it compared to these other ones.
Well, I still think, hey, it's better than we could do. We're going to be posting Stephanie's recipe a little bit later on the Jason Show Facebook page. We're not done, though, because when we come back, her picks, if you don't want to make it, picks to buy. Where to buy locally some sourdough, the best places when we come back. Back in a moment, everyone. You need a bandana. You need the starter. Back with our carb queen, Stephanie Hansen. We're talking breads today. She just walked through basically how to make or what you need if you want to make sourdough bread. Again, we'll post the recipe a little bit later. But if you don't want to go through all of that, where can you get some sourdough bread locally? Stephanie, I don't want to alarm you, but I think somebody broke into your house and graffitied one of your loaves of bread. It looks like someone tagged your loaf of bread there.
Isn't this amazing? So my friend John Krause, he owns Patisserie 46 and Rose Cafe, and he is a Coup de Monde finalist. He's a winner. He's a bronze winner, which is like the highest level baking competition in France. And we're lucky enough to have him right in our neighborhood. This is his Levion, and then he's got a Michi loaf. And I mean, this just is like, these are my aspirations, right? Because as a home baker, I could never make a loaf this beautiful. I mean, just the way that he's got the 46 on it, and the crumb is delicious. It makes great croutons. It makes delicious toast. These breads are world class. We are so lucky to have so many great bakeries and flour mills in the home of what was milling, right? Because Pillsbury started here down in the Mill City. That tradition is not lost on us in the Twin Cities. We are so lucky. We have so many great bakers.
Yeah, I second that emotion. Well, speaking of that, one of my personal favorites, Honey and Rye.
Yeah, so Honey and Rye is great. They're in St. Louis Park, and Anne is making wonderful sourdough breads amongst other breads. She also sells a starter. So if you're, again, not someone that wants to get all fancy making your own starter at home, you can add it to your to-go order from curbside pickup, and they will have it all for you, and it's her starter that she's made. So it's just a shortcut. It saves you about 5 days.
Bakersfield Flour and Bread.
Okay, again, this is flour that has been milled from heritage grains around the Midwest, and then they bring them into the food building in Northeast, and they have the best bread flours. This is what I've been using, not only to feed my starter, but also to make the sourdough loaves, the 3 that I've made. They're just, these are their breads. They're so beautiful. They're hearty. They're just, it's one of my favorite spots to go on a Saturday afternoon. I stop by there on my way home from the weekly dish, and I pick up bread, and I pick up some red table meats and some cheese, and it's just delish.
And finally, Rustica. Rustica.
Yeah, Rustica is a great bakery. They have a ton of breads as well. They just opened in Southdale right before the pandemic. They've got another location in the Lakes area in Minneapolis. And if you're looking for delicious sourdough, you can find it there. They're, again, just full of world-class bakers. And a lot of these bakers are friends, and they've learned from each other. You know, John at Patisserie 46 has trained a lot of people in the Twin Cities on these bread making techniques. And I don't know, there's something therapeutic about it when the whole world is falling to heck and you're at home and you can just knead bread. It's sort of become something that I just want to get better at. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. I have a recipe that I used that's pretty simple. I'm not an expert yet. I'm still working on it, but I think if you're interested in bread baking, it's something fun to try.
This is the recipe for sourdough, sweetie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you swear it's easy. You promise?
Yes, it's just time consuming. I've made literally two loaves that were great. And then of course the third one that I cooked in the vessel, which was idiotic, but I was tired. So what do you do? And I love to show the food fails too, because for every success, if you have a failure, that's how you get better, right? You can't just be perfect all the time.
Okay, before we let you go, is that your, behind you, you know I love atmosphere here. Is that your cookbook stand behind you?
Yes.
Or is that where you keep like naughty books or something? Is that your cookbooks?
No, those are my cookbooks.
Okay, pull one right now. Give me a favorite. Give me, Jeff, executive producer Jeff, has the run on cookbook suggestions. Give the folks a great cookbook suggestion that you love. And keep in mind, the show is only 20 more minutes. So what is that?
Simple food. Alice Waters. This is like picking my favorite child. I'm sweating and feeling anxiety by it. But Alice Waters is like the founder of the farm to table movement. This book, The Art of Simple Food, is great for home cooking. She'll teach you how to roast a chicken, how to mash potatoes, how to roast the perfect salmon. It's just super simple. You can see I have a lot of pages marked. I use it a lot. I use it a real lot.
Well, this should spawn a little, because you like this so much, and I love live TV, so I love doing that to you. But we should do a little I think people like this, a little segment on your favorite cookbooks and a recipe out of each of them.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Yeah. Okay, the queen of carbs, Stephanie Hansen. Thank you, Steph. Like Stephanie said, for details, head to stephaniesdish.com. And don't forget to listen to the Weekly Dish. If you are a foodie, it is my guilty pleasure on the weekends on My Talk 107.1. Still ahead, radio station's familiar. Still ahead, you're showing us your weekend next. There's a morning radio show on that station. It's pretty good, too.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day.
Welcome back. Our virtual audience joining us today. We'll talk to them in just a little bit. Speaking of our audience, weekends may be a little different these days in the era of social distancing, but that doesn't mean we still can enjoy them. And boy, do we enjoy them. It is time once again for Show Us Your Weekend. It was a weekend to celebrate for a lot of you. Barry, hey Barry, shared this picture saying, celebrated my mom's 91st birthday. Google Meet style as her residence is in quarantine. Not a bad pivot. She loved every minute of it. Happy birthday, sweetie. And Nancy shared this picture celebrating her dad's 90th. Happy birthday to both of them. Linda, meanwhile, spent the weekend with her 90-year-old mom. She says her mom received these beautiful truffles in the mail from her 90-year-old classmate, Harvey. Linda thinks he likes her. Baking was a big part of the weekend for a lot of you. Wendy says her husband made delicious popovers for their breakfast. Oh, remember the Dayton's popovers? And Kibby made what she calls amazing tender banana bread. Could you send some over to the station? Thanks, Kibby. Two of you got the 100 Cookies cookbook executive producer Jeff recommended back in December. Jill made the Neapolitan cookies, saying, first recipe from this great cookbook. And Ruth and her family made the brown sugar cookies. Nice work. Jeff would be proud. From baking to takeout, Carrie says her son surprised her Saturday morning with a caramel roll from a local bakery. That's right, support local. She says, and she's right, it's the little things that matter. And Jean had some barbecue from Jelly Bean and Julia's in Anoka after work on Saturday. Carol spent plenty of time outdoors this weekend. She went snowmobiling with her granddaughter. Mary, meanwhile, showed off her crafty side. She says she finally finished this quilt, and it is beautiful. Way to go, Mary. Jennifer had to deal with this over the weekend. She says her 6-year-old daughter let her 5-year-old sister give her bangs. Oops. Jennifer says it looks like a pixie cut is coming this week. Danette's daughter was busy playing princess with her best friend, the family dog. Julie's cute dog, Major, helped cheer on the Minnesota Wild to a pair of overtime victories. And Jill added a new family member, Remy. She's been busy training and puppy-proofing her entire house, and she's rewarded with puppy kisses. Amy cheered on the Packers to victory with the help of her 17-month-old twins. It was also Amy's birthday, and Vanessa may have had the best weekend of all. Her little guy Harrison was born on Thursday, so her family's weekend meant coming home from the hospital. Congratulations to Vanessa and her whole family. And thanks to all of you that shared your pictures with us. We are loving it. I think it's just a great opportunity just to sit back and to smile at people. Again, as I said in the package, it's the simple things in life. Let's talk to our audience. Stephanie, tell me something good that you did over the weekend. Tell me something good. One thing that you did over the weekend.
I did some packing because I just bought a house.
Woo! Oh, now see? That's fantastic. Is this, Stephanie, if you don't mind me asking, is this your first house?
Yes.
Congratulations. Are you excited?
Very.
Okay. I would offer to help move, but there's nothing worse than moving. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible, isn't it? Moving, the packing is horrible.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you, ladies. I obviously had a nice weekend. Went back to one of my favorite places again, trying to support local restaurants. Went to Serum's, had some chicken wings. Might have played some pull tabs. I can neither confirm nor deny that pull tabs were played. And I will not tell you if I lost. I lost. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. Back in a moment. I won a little too, but then I lost it. So, we were just having a debate. Ted, I don't think we'll be working here much longer because we just found out in the break. So as that package was running with all of your delightful photos, the picture of that banana bread came on. And Ted notified Jeff that he hates banana bread. And we said, that's un-American. How can you not like? And then now we're arguing. And Tyler, floor director Tyler's right. Ted goes, I don't like banana-flavored items. I like bananas. To which we pointed out to Ted, banana bread's made from bananas. It's not fake banana-flavored stuff. Ted said it doesn't matter. He's a purist. I don't know what that means. He's a purist. I guess he just likes banana in pure form. How can you not like banana bread? But then Adam on our crew, he doesn't like banana bread. So, if you would like to apply to be a director or a producer here at Fox 9, please email your applications to fox9.com. We'll keep Adam, though. Ted, I don't know. Stay connected with our show on social media. Just go to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Search for Jason Show TV. And you can also put your applications in there as well. We'll be right back with our bubblegum goodbye and our goodbye to our virtual audience right after this. How can you not like banana bread? My mother, the Dar, always keeping it real. I texted her in the break. I go, can you believe Ted doesn't like banana bread? Her exact words, what's wrong with that guy? I don't know, Mom. We're trying to figure that out. I don't know. We may make a whole segment out of it. Let's say goodbye to our audience. Hello to Stephanie, Christine, Kim, Rachel. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Okay,
Thank you.
Before we go, though, show of hands really quickly. Oh, wow, we lost one of them real quick. She's like, oh, there we go, back. Okay, show of hands, who likes banana bread? Who likes banana bread? Thank you. Thank you. See, Ted. Proud Americans right there. Thank you, ladies. It is time for the bubblegum goodbye. Let's see what this is. Here we go. What's today's mystery question? What was the first concert you went to? Well, yeah, I've answered it. It was Madonna, Blonde Ambition, and then Paula Abdul, which was also my first CD. But yeah, Madonna, Blonde Ambition. And my mother didn't know that I went to that concert, and now she knows. But I snuck out with my friend Ann, and I don't think my mom knew that. She can't legally ground me anymore, can she? I'm married, so I don't think she can do that. But yeah, and then the second was Paula Abdul with Scat Cat, the animated cat. Do you remember? Yeah, remember him? Yeah, there was an animated cat, came out to do Opposites Attract. And then Whitney Houston was my third, and then Tina Turner was my fourth. I had really good, I just remembered that, yeah. Tina Turner, the best. Still the best. Nobody, she came down the stairs. She was in her 60s at the time. She came down the stairs, started dancing. 20-year-old dancers couldn't keep up with her. It was the GoldenEye tour. She's the best. Tomorrow on The Jason Show, Shayla from the Plant Penthouse is back with tips on helping your houseplants thrive in the winter. I need that help too. I need help with bread, and I need help with plants. I have everything I touch. No. Anyway. Hey, again, I'll end how we began. I just want to say happy birthday to Kendall. I hope she's having a great day. I love you. Is she back tomorrow? She's back tomorrow. So thank you. And thanks to all of you that watch every single day. And if you are watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Go eat some banana bread, Ted.